Welcome to Star Bios, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating lives of Hollywood's most captivating stars. I'm your host, Casey Gold, and today we're shining the spotlight on a true country music icon, the incomparable June Carter Cash. With her sparkling personality, quick wit, and unmistakable voice, June left an indelible mark on the music world, and her story is one of talent, perseverance, and devotion. Born on June 23, 1929, in Mesa Springs, Virginia, Valerie June Carter, as she was known to her family and friends, grew up surrounded by the sights and sounds of traditional Appalachian music. Her childhood home, nestled in the heart of the Clinch Mountains, was a hub of creative expression, where music, storytelling, and laughter filled the air. The old homestead, with its creaky wooden floorboards and stone fireplace, seemed to reverberate with the rhythms of the past, as if the very walls had absorbed the melodies and harmonies that wafted through its doors for generations. June's mother, Maybelle Carter, was a highly influential musician and member of the legendary Carter family, whose innovative blend of folk, country, and gospel helped shape the course of American roots music. Maybelle's own story is one of determination and grit, as she navigated the male-dominated music industry with her sisters, Sarah and AP, to create a sound that was both timeless and groundbreaking. As June would later recall, her mother's experiences as a pioneering female musician instilled in her a sense of fearlessness and a strong work ethic, essential qualities for any artist looking to make their mark. As a young girl, June would often sit at her mother's feet, watching in awe as Maybelle's skilled fingers danced across the strings of her guitar. These early moments sparked a deep passion for music within June, who began performing with her sisters, Helen and Anita, at local events and gatherings. The Carter sisters, as they came to be known, quickly gained popularity throughout the region, charming audiences with their harmonious vocals and lively stage presence. June's father, Ezra Carter, would often drive the girls to their performances, his old truck loaded with instruments and costumes, as they traveled from town to town, spreading their unique sound to anyone who would listen. June's formative years were also marked by a strong sense of family and community. The Carters' close-knit family and their deep connection to the land and traditions of Appalachia would later influence June's songwriting and artistic style, which often explored themes of love, faith, and everyday life. Her parents' marriage, built on mutual respect and trust, provided a stable foundation for June and her sisters to grow and flourish. Ezra Carter, a kind and gentle man with a quick wit and a love of storytelling, would regale his daughters with tales of Appalachian folklore and history, inspiring in them a deep appreciation for their heritage. Growing up during the Great Depression and World War II, June witnessed firsthand the hardships faced by many families in rural America. She remembered the struggles of her own family as they worked to make ends meet on their small farm, and the ways in which music and storytelling brought people together during difficult times. These experiences not only shaped her perspective on life, but also influenced her music, which often reflected a sense of resilience and hope in the face of adversity. As June navigated her teenage years, she began to develop her own unique voice and style, one that blended traditional country with modern sensibilities and a dash of wit. The Carter family's musical legacy was not limited to their performances. It was also deeply rooted in their daily lives. June recalled how her mother would often sing while cooking or cleaning, her voice weaving in and out of the rhythms of everyday chores. This organic approach to music making instilled in June a sense of spontaneity and creativity, as she learned to find inspiration in the mundane and the ordinary. As she grew older, June began to appreciate the ways in which her family's music was not just a form of entertainment, but also a way of preserving their cultural heritage and passing it down to future generations. With her family's musical legacy as a guiding force, June set out to forge her own path in the entertainment industry. She attended college, studying drama and speech, while continuing to perform with her sisters and pursue solo projects. It was during this period that June began to make a name for herself as a talented singer, songwriter, and actress, laying the groundwork for a career that would span decades and earn her a place among country music's most beloved and enduring stars. As she navigated the complexities of the music industry, June drew on the lessons she learned from her mother and father, the importance of hard work, perseverance, and staying true to one's artistic vision. As June's career gained momentum, she found herself at the forefront of the country music scene, rubbing shoulders with legendary artists like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, and Dolly Parton in iconic venues such as the Ryman Auditorium and the Grand Ole Opry. The air was electric with the smell of smoke and sweat, and the sound of foot stomping and hand clapping filled the air as she took the stage, her voice soaring through the crowd like a wildflower blooming in the Appalachian hills. Her unique blend of traditional Appalachian folk and modern country sensibilities resonated deeply with audiences, who were captivated by her charismatic stage presence and the authenticity that shone through her music like a beacon. June's early life had been marked by hardship and struggle, but as she rose to fame, she began to use her platform to tell the stories of the people and places that had shaped her. Her songs often dealt with themes of love, heartache, and everyday life, which struck a chord with listeners from all walks of life. She sang about the joys and struggles of rural life, about the beauty and brutality of nature, and about the resilience and strength of the human spirit. As she performed, her eyes would lock onto those of her audience, and for a moment, it was as if they were the only two people in the world, connected by the thread of music. In 1952, June married Carl Smith, a prominent country singer, and the couple had a daughter, Carleen Carter, who would later follow in her mother's footsteps as a musician. The marriage was marked by both joy and struggle, as the couple navigated the challenges of fame and family life. Despite their eventual divorce, June remained committed to her role as a mother and used her music as a way to connect with her daughter and pass on the traditions of her family. June's songwriting skills flourished during this period, and she penned several hit songs, including Jukebox Blues and Time's a Wastin'. Her music was infused with the spirit of Appalachian folk, which had been passed down through generations of her family. She drew on the stories and legends of her ancestors, weaving them into her songs like a tapestry. As she wrote, she would often sit on the porch of her family's old homestead, surrounded by the rolling hills and misty mountains that had inspired so many of her songs. In 1966, June joined the Grand Ole Opry, a prestigious institution that showcased the best in country music, further solidifying her position as a leading lady of country. The Opry was a sacred place for country musicians, a venue where legends were born and careers were made. As June took the stage, she felt a sense of pride and belonging, knowing that she was part of a long tradition of musicians who had come before her. One of the most significant events in June's career occurred on March 3, 1968, when she married Johnny Cash, one of the most iconic figures in American music. The couple's relationship was marked by a deep love and respect for each other, both personally and professionally. June played a pivotal role in helping Johnny overcome his struggles with addiction and personal demons, using her own experiences with hardship to guide him towards healing and redemption. As they toured together, June would often sit beside Johnny on the bus, playing her guitar and singing softly as he struggled to find peace. Together, June and Johnny toured extensively, performing to sold-out crowds and recording several albums, including the critically acclaimed Jackson in 1967. Their duets, such as Long-Legged Guitar Pickin' Man and If I Were a Carpenter, showcased the chemistry and harmony that defined their relationship. June's influence on Johnny's music was profound, and she co-wrote several of his hit songs, including Ring of Fire, which became one of his signature tunes. As they sang together, their voices would blend like honey and smoke, creating a sound that was both familiar and innovative. June's own music continued to evolve during this period, and she released several solo albums, including Wildwood Flower in 1985, which featured a mix of traditional folk, country, and gospel music. Her commitment to preserving Appalachian musical heritage was evident in her work with the Carter Family Fold, a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting traditional music and dance. Through her music and her advocacy, June helped to keep the rich cultural traditions of Appalachia alive for future generations, ensuring that the stories and songs of her ancestors would not be forgotten. As June's career spanned decades, she earned numerous accolades, including multiple Grammy nominations and a place in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Her contributions to country music were recognized by her peers, who revered her as a talented singer, songwriter, and musician. June's collaborations with other artists were also noteworthy, particularly her work with Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Linda Ronstadt on the Trio album in 1987. This groundbreaking project brought together three of country music's most distinctive voices, resulting in a critically acclaimed album that showcased their collective talent and chemistry. Throughout her life, June remained committed to her Appalachian roots and her family's musical legacy. She continued to perform and record music until her death in 2003, leaving behind a body of work that would inspire generations of musicians to come. As she looked out over the rolling hills and misty mountains of her childhood home, June knew that she had lived a life that was true to herself and her art, a life that would be remembered for its beauty, its passion, and its enduring spirit. As June Carter Cash's life entered its final decades, a warm, golden light seemed to envelop her, as if the sunset over the Appalachian hills she loved so dearly had settled into her very soul. She continued to create music that was as much a part of her as the air she breathed, perform with a fire that never dimmed, and advocate for the preservation of the rich cultural heritage of her beloved Appalachia with a fervor that inspired countless others. Her later years were marked by a deepening commitment to her faith, which had long been a source of comfort and strength, and a renewed focus on her family, who had always been at the very center of her life. In 1999, June published her autobiography, Among My Kinsfolk, a title that spoke volumes about her love for her roots and her people. This poignant and introspective memoir offered readers a unique glimpse into the mind and heart of a woman who had lived a life full of love, music, and purpose, weaving together stories of her childhood in the mountains, her rise to fame as a musician, and her enduring marriage to Johnny Cash. Written in her own words, with the same warmth and sincerity that characterized her songs, Among My Kinsfolk was more than just a memoir. It was an invitation into June's world, a chance for readers to sit on the porch with her, sipping sweet tea and listening to tales of love, family, and the music that bound them all together. As the early 2000s unfolded, June's health began to decline, casting a shadow over her life that she faced with the same courage and resilience that had defined her career. She underwent several surgeries, including a delicate procedure to repair a brain aneurysm, each time emerging with a determination to continue creating and performing music that was nothing short of inspiring. In one of her last recordings, she sang with a voice that trembled slightly but still conveyed the conviction of a lifetime. This old world is full of sorrow, but it's also full of beauty, and I've been blessed to have seen both. These words were more than just lyrics. They were a philosophy, a way of looking at the world that June had embodied her entire life. June Carter Cash passed away on May 15, 2003, at the age of 73, surrounded by her family and loved ones in a scene that was as peaceful as it was poignant. Johnny Cash, her beloved husband, would follow her in death just 4 months later, a poignant reminder of the deep bond they shared, one that transcended life itself. Their love story, one for the ages, was marked by its depth, its passion, and its enduring legacy, inspiring generations with its beauty and simplicity. Today, June Carter Cash is remembered as a trailblazing musician who paved the way for countless women in country music, a devoted wife and mother whose family was always her greatest joy, and a passionate advocate for Appalachian culture, which she celebrated through her music, her writing, and her very existence. Her legacy extends far beyond her own music and artistry, influencing generations of musicians, including her own children and grandchildren, who carry on her traditions with pride and gratitude. She showed us all that with hard work, determination, and a commitment to our roots, we can create something truly beautiful and lasting. These words capture the essence of June's impact, an impact that is as much about the values she embodied as it is about the music she created. June's impact on American music is immeasurable, a legacy that has been recognized with numerous awards and accolades, including multiple Grammy Awards and a revered place in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Her music and story continue to inspire new artists and fans alike, ensuring that her legacy will endure for generations to come, a reminder of the power of authenticity, creativity, and love. Whether through her classic recordings, her timeless songwriting, or the countless lives she touched directly and indirectly, June Carter Cash remains an icon of American music, a woman whose heart, soul, and spirit were as big as the mountains she loved. Her story is a powerful testament to the enduring power of love, faith, and community, values that she lived every day, and that continue to inspire us today. That's all for today's Star Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Casey Gold, reminding you to keep shooting for the stars